Everyone, and welcome to the late night Smackdown review show. Yes, just going through what happened on Smackdown last night. Spoiler alert: Smackdown was absolutely amazing. Very, very unusual in all the time that I've been doing these reviews. Oh, let me just get myself comfortable. Sorry about that. Yeah, it's very I come on with like a. I'm sometimes positive about Smackdown, but it's very unusual that I come along with like a really, really enthusiastic to the day at the moment as well. Um, you're all right, not too bad, thanks yourself. Um, yeah, it's very unusual that I come on with like a super enthusiastic review, but honestly, guys, if you end up watching this, SmackDown was brilliant. It was absolutely top draw, amazing. Apart from maybe the last 20, 30-ish minutes, there's probably some segments that I would have moved around and stuff, and there's some people that I would have had going in one segment over another. But yeah, it was absolutely brilliant. I mean, I ended up doing some of my YouTube shorts halfway through actually watching it, and I ended up like going upstairs for about 40 minutes and leaving my lad basically. But just so I could record what was going on. It was just absolutely. It was one thing after another, after another, after another. It was brilliant, and I'm speechless to be quite honest. But there we go. SmackDown was a million times better than anyone last year. Yeah, definitely, Jacob. Yeah, it was. Well, like I said, I'm going to go through it in a minute. Just to let all you guys know, as per usual, bit of housekeeping. This will be on YouTube videos and also on YouTube audio, podcasts, etc., etc. The video should be available, depending on how long I go for, probably about midday tomorrow, maybe 1, 2 o'clock, something along them lines, wherever YouTube gets around to processing it for me. And also, just to let you guys know, I'll be reviewing this and then I'll be telling you about what else I'm getting up to and all the other live streams that I'm doing because I'm going to be getting very busy very, very soon. But yeah, I'll go into SmackDown in a minute. Let me just read Jacob's next comment. If Bray Wyatt was still alive, SmackDown would probably be phenomenal. Oh, Jacob, dude, literally, it was. I got proper emotional with that. The promo that Uncle Howdy cut because obviously he made reference to Bray and he sort of. I can't remember exactly what he said, but he was something along the lines of the fans are here, we're here, he will always be here or something like that. And I got proper choked up because, dude, I was a massive Bray Wyatt fan. I remember when he died, I was, yeah, proper grief stricken. He was one of my favourite all time wrestling characters. I absolutely loved Mr. Rotunda. Yeah, he was unique and he was a fantastic wrestler. And he just had that personality that I really like. I like the supernatural sort of stuff that you get with wrestling. And Bray was just yeah, dude, it still sucks. He was a bloody great bloke. I remember. Sorry, I'll get into SmackDown in a minute, but I just very quick story. I remember when I first went to see AEW All In, so the first one at Wembley Stadium, and I was getting prepared the day before, backpack water and all that business, and then I'm not sure if it was my missus or whether it was me, but yeah, I just sort of found out that Bray Wyatt had died. In fact, no, I saw it through Booker T's podcast that he does with that. I can't remember what the fella's name is. It came up on one of social media feeds, and I just couldn't believe it. I thought it was a wind up at first because I was just like, well, I just saw Bray wrestle about 2 weeks ago, and he looked perfectly fine to me. And it was just like he was 10 years younger than I am now, and he's not been with us for what 3 years, 3.5 years. And when I went to All In, despite the fact it was AEW and there's this whole stupid thing between some AEW fans and some WWE fans, which I have no interest in whatsoever, by the way. I will watch any wrestling that you put on. I don't care about that sort of thing. But the tributes in the AEW fandom, there were so many people dressed as Bray. I'll never forget there was this one bloke who, you know, where you've got the seats, the floor seats, and then you've got that little gap to where the sort of arena seats are, especially when you go to Wembley. There was this one fellow who was dressed like Bray Wyatt, and literally half of the bit of Wembley, so like the quarter bit where the ring is on your left hand side, where the entrance ramp is, they were all singing "He's got the whole world in his hands," and I was proper choked up. It was yeah. Yeah, dude, I miss the guy all the time. He was one of my favorite wrestlers, and he's one of the reasons. Bray Wyatt is probably one of the only reasons why I carried on watching professional wrestling. During the whole horrendous period that was going on, sort of, I don't know, 2009, 2010 ish, where it was just so rubbish and so vanilla. Um, yeah, yeah, he was a lovely, lovely bloke, mate. Just a lovely bloke. It breaks my heart. Breaks my heart seeing his wife, his little kiddies. Um, yeah. Sorry to start this with on a somber note, folks, but no. Anytime anyone wants to speak to Bray Wyatt, I will always hold up what I'm doing. And I've got a little schedule of stuff to talk about, but I'm always happy to speak to people about Bray Wyatt because he was a top bloke, top wrestler, and I very, very much miss him, to be honest. Let's have a look. Yeah, his death made me shook for a while, and I still can't believe it. Yeah, the most creative wrestler of all time. Oh yeah, dude, some of the gimmicks that he came up with. I saw that. It was like a documentary that he had with obviously his brother, and I think it was one of the gentlemen and the women that made his, and they were just talking about how I'm paraphrasing, but how talented he was and how he gave him so much inspiration in terms of creating his costume. So he wrote scripts for what each costume means. There was a backstory to everything. Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was just amazing. He was absolutely amazing. Let's have a look. Oh, sorry. Meliscula. Um, I think they're flowers. If so, thank you. Like Brody's death was a shock, but Bray's was more, in my opinion. Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I'm trying to think if there was a. I mean, obviously, I've seen lots of wrestling deaths because I've been watching wrestling for pro wrestling for. How long have I been watching for? 89, I think it was. So I've seen Davy Boy die, Brian Pillman. Obviously, one of the ones that hit me really hard was Owen Hart. I was actually watching. I actually, unfortunately, I actually saw the Owen Hart thing on Sky Sports when it happened, and I didn't exactly see the fall, but there was. I'll never forget that there was this. I don't think you'd be able to find it now, but literally the thing that I saw, you could just see this thing in the background going like that. It was like a came down, and then there were a couple of people going, "We've got big problems here." And I was like, "What the hell's going on?" They put these random vignettes on and packages of like matches that they'd already done packages on. I'm like, "What is going on?" And then they did the whole thing of Owen Hart has died, and I was like, because obviously straight away I was like, "Well, I mean, that's got to be a work, surely." It's like, well, it's not very nice work, but surely it must be a work. And then obviously you check the next day and you think to yourself, well, it's got to be a work, surely. And then it was all over national news that Owen Hart had actually died. So yeah, obviously I've had the Owen thing. I'm trying to think who else we've lost. Obviously, the Ultimate Warrior one was a shock because he'd been at the Hall of Fame. He died the next day, I think. Obviously Hogan, I he had a bit of a complicated relationship with Hogan. Certainly don't wish the man death on the man or anything like that. And then yeah, Bray was just yeah, it was just horrendous, mate. Unfortunately, it really, really was. I'm just gonna have a quick cig of water. Sorry about that, folks. Do apologise. Um, yeah, follow the buzzards. Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, the documentary was incredible. Yeah, I can't remember the last time I watched it. I want to say it was about a year ago or something on the Rick family. Yeah, dude, absolutely, absolutely. He was Bray Wyatt was wonderful. God bless him and God bless his family. That's all I can say. Red Jacobs, to be honest. Yeah, so just going very quickly into SmackDown. I mean, and if anyone ends up watching this, obviously, on the YouTube podcast, which I think most people tend to watch me podcasts after I've recorded them. So, um, just to go through everything that happened, I've actually had to write it down on like laptop. There you go, if you can see that, because literally I had to write it down to get it into my own head. Because saying nonsense that was going on, so good nonsense. Don't get me wrong. So basically, the Miz came out. I really like the way they jump started the whole show as well with the Miz basically just interrupting Graves and Cole. So he comes out and he's just like, right, grievance number one, grievance number two, and then all of a sudden, I hear voices in my head. Iron Claw was cool, by the way, dude. Yeah, very, very good. I follow about 20 wrestling people. All film people, actually. Watch it. It was an excellent, excellent film. Thoroughly enjoyed it. But yeah, Randy comes out and I love the way that he came out and he sort of fake did an attempt at an RKO, and Miz was sort of like, oh, he's not going to RKO me and this, that, and the other. And then I think lines of how about we have Miz KO or something like that. I don't know what name he came up with. And Randy was like to the crowd, no, 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 he's got a point. So he goes towards Miz, then he's literally just like, yeah, I'm OJ. And he just basically just RKOs out of his shoes. Um, and yeah, Randy he looked really, really good, by the way. He looked really, really good. Like, he has properly been working out. Obviously, he's not been seen since was it SummerSlam last time Randy was there. Can't remember now, to be completely honest. But yeah, and it was good to have Randy back. Next thing that happened was I'm not sure if this is totally correct in terms of like sequencing and stuff. It's just stuff that I've written down. But I'm fairly sure the women's 8-woman tag match to the 4 teams. I'm fairly sure that was next. I think it was anyway. This was really, really good. Really enjoyed it. My one complaint, and it's just because I'm an old man shouting at the clouds, was Charlotte and Alexa Bliss are two of the biggest stars in WWE. Right. I get why Lash Legend and Nia Jax for TV time. I get why their entrance wasn't covered, but to not cover the ring entrance of Charlotte Flair, who has one of the most iconic ring entrances with the song, and Alexa Bliss, because everyone loves that song. It's an absolute banger. And just in general, I just thought it was super, super disrespectful, to be completely honest. But yeah, other than that, the match was absolutely brilliant. Thoroughly enjoyed it. I'd recommend anyone to go and see it. Lash Legend was absolutely, that woman is brilliant. Even if you're not a wrestling fan, just type in Lash Legend. She's like a beast. I actually said to my missus the other day, "Do you reckon you could beat her up?" And she sat there doing a leg, and she took one look up and went, "Ah." She was like, "Oh dear God, no." She's just like, if she came up to me, I'd just run away. So yeah, no, it was absolutely fantastic. But at the end, Rhea Ripley went over with Io Sky, and they now face, he says, trying to remember, the Kabuki Warriors on Monday Night Raw, which is like this huge star-studded thing because it's the anniversary of Netflix. So they're kind of hyping it as a bit of a pay-per-view as well. Um, I may stay up to watch it, but I think that day, I don't know what day it actually is. Does anyone know what day it is at the minute? I think it's Saturday. I don't know. Christmas has completely just destroyed my brain, to be honest. Um, I'm not sure if I'll be able to cover Raw live, but I would like to see that Raw. So even if I'm in work, whisper this, but I might stay up till 5 in the morning and then just try and get through work. Which is not a very sensible idea when you're 46, but still. Hey, yeah, yeah, yeah. How you doing? Yeah, you're all right. Happy New Year to you and your family. Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, Happy New Year to you and your family as well. It's nice to see you again and hear from you. Yes, Arsenal. Yes, I know, I know, I know. You are now, what is it, 16 points in front of us, I believe. Let me just pull up the league table. If you're just wondering what I'm doing, I am trying to find out how many points Arsenal are clear of Liverpool, which has nothing to do with pro wrestling. Yes, the Mighty Reds, the defending champions, allegedly, are on 33 points, and Arsenal are on 48. Um, So with my very quick bit of maths, even if we beat Fulham tomorrow, which we won't, because by the way, heard it here first, Fulham 4, Liverpool 1. I have no faith of any description that we will get anything from Fulham. And also, rather scarily, guess who Liverpool have got next Thursday? Oh dear God Almighty. I'm actually working late next Thursday, so I may actually put myself through horrendous torture and nonsense, but I may actually go and see it. I really do not wish to see it because we're going to get absolutely hammered, but still. Yes, the Arsenal are 6 points clear, so well done, yeah. That's the one. Yeah, sorry, it's my appalling addiction. But yeah, lovely to hear from you again. Yeah, so after that, you had the women's not title match. You had the women's match basically, and then all of a sudden it was just hit after hit after hit. So Jordan Grace turns up out of nowhere, and she's with they do a little backstage segment with her and Chelsea Green, and Jordan Grace basically as being the SmackDown's latest, or probably possibly SmackDown's latest new member kind of thing. So I'm like, oh, sweet, we've got Jordan Grace. Then we get this ridiculous thing with Kit Wilson. By the way, folks, I should support him because he's one of my countrymen, and I'm sure the actual Kit Wilson, whatever his name is in real life, is a lovely, lovely bloke. The gimmick is dreadful. It's basically an annoying PG version of current Russell Brand. Now, most of you will know where I lean politically. I didn't like Russell Brand in 2008 when everyone else liked him. I thought he was, excuse my language, but I'm going to swear, so cover your ears. I thought Russell Brand was a prize-winning dickhead, to be completely honest. Never liked him. The moment I saw him, thought he was an absolute tool, basically. And I remember 2008. Sorry, there is a point to this. It's not just me having to go at Russell Brand. Um, I remember back in 2008, there was a group of us that half of us were girls and half of us were boys, kind of thing. And a lot of the lads were like, "Oh yeah, he's really funny, Leon." Blah 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 blah. And a lot of the girls, because they basically thought he was attractive and everything, was like, "Oh, he's lovely, and he's in touch with his inner Earth mother and weird stuff like that." Anyway, and I still knock around the same people to find out what good old Russell's been getting up to in his spare time. And you're like, yeah, lads, girls, you got that wrong a little bit, didn't you? Anyway, the point is, I have no doubt that Kit Wilson is basing his gimmick off Russell Brand, and I do not wish to see it because I don't wish to speak of said person for the rest of my life, and I would like him to be put in prison where he belongs for the rest of his life as well. So there it is. Anyway, moving on from the Russell Brand abusing, so he comes out and all of a sudden, like Zack Ryder's music hits, and I'm just like, what is going on here? But then the bit of the Titantron where it's got the person's name and everything, it changes from Zack Ryder to Matt Cardona. And I was like, oh, they're actually doing it as Matt Cardona. What makes it even more mental is then just casually throws in, oh yeah, I've just spoke to Nick Howard. This Matt Cardona is now a full-time member of the SmackDown roster. Anyway, back to this match, and I'm just literally, so me and my son are like, my son was looking at me going, Dad, are you all right? And I'm literally like, like this, like it was the end of Avengers Endgame or something. It was just absolutely insane, to be honest. And I looked and I was like, bloody hell, SmackDown's only been on for 45 minutes. So, like I said, I went up and did all my shorts and stuff, did a whole like vlog, which I've been trying to load up all day and I can't get it to load. Thank you very much, YouTube uploader. And yeah, it was just insane. So Matt Cardona wins, and he's now a full-time member of the WWE roster as Matt Cardona and not Zack Ryder. So I'm just like, yeah. There we go. So yes. Let me just have a look, guys. Sorry, I've been waffling along and not looking at your things. One from I will answer this for you. Who is your favourite wrestler? Ah, right. It's a bit of a complicated one. Let me have some water. So, the reason it's complicated yet is, I say complicated, it's not really complicated at all. I kind of have a category for favourite wrestler. and it's kind of split. So I've got current favorite wrestler, my all-time favorite wrestler, and just because wrestling sometimes it's entertainment, it's entertainer, and it's also performer, and sometimes it's performer and entertainer. I've kind of got an overall best of all time. So my current favorite, who has been my favorite since 2012, is CM Punk. For all his faults, I like the guy. I dig him. I like his attitude. I like the way he is. I like the way that he's just imperfect. He makes mistakes and he doesn't pretend that he hasn't made mistakes. He's who he is. He's blunt. Phil Brooks is just basically CM Punk is like what Stone Cold Steve Austin said back in the day. Phil Brooks is just CM Punk with the volume turned up. Um, I definitely think that's his authentic self. I could be wrong. Who knows? But yeah, CM Punk's my current favourite wrestler. My all-time favorite wrestler is Stone Cold Steve Austin for reasons that I've given before. Because, like I said, I told this a million times, but like when my old man passed away, Stone Cold Steve Austin legitimately because he was just hitting his stride and he was like um, doing the high sign and drinking beer and never giving up and all that business and giving random people stunners. Steve Austin was one of the legitimate reasons that I got over my dad's death. And if I could ever meet Steve Austin, which I'm sure is probably not going to happen now, but if I could ever meet Steve Austin, I would just go up to the bloke, buy him a beer, and say thank you because I once got through his death. It had literally, I know people might be saying you're full of shit. Not full of shit at all. I wouldn't have got through my father's death without Stone Cold Steve Austin, and yeah, he was absolutely amazing. My overall top performer of all time, unquestionably, is Shawn Michaels. He's the best professional wrestler and entertainer that I've ever seen. Shout out to Ric Flair. He's not a million miles off, but what the Heartbreak Kid could do was just phenomenal. That match that he had with The Undertaker in 2000 and crikey, when was that now? I want to say it was 2009. The first Undertaker Shawn Michaels match. So they had the first Shawn Michaels match, then they had the second the Triple H, and then they had the one where Shawn Michaels was the referee for Triple H, or was it Taker 2? Or 3 actually, because I think Taker's beat Triple H 3 times. Um, yeah, for me, Shawn Michaels is the best pro wrestler of all time. But Stone Cold Steve Austin will always be my favourite, if that makes any sense. So yes, that's a long-winded way of saying Shawn Michaels, I suppose. Let's have a look. Hey, Thomas, hey lad, you all right? Nice to hear from you again, mate. Let's have a look. That's here. Russell Brand is waiting his trial. Yes. I would very much like to know why the gentleman, who I don't wish to talk about, is still awaiting his trial, given that charges were levied against him nearly 18 months ago, and he has been since allowed. Um, Not very secure places like college dorms in America, which is a bit of a problem for the obvious reason that I don't want to go into. But yeah, no, like I said, yeah, I won't turn this into a political thing because I know I can go a bit. Well, it's not even political; it's just like a human thing. I have hated that man literally since 2008 when I found out the revolting, violent, and disgusting things that the man is meant to have done. Which is looking pretty conclusive that he has. I yeah, I don't want anything to do with it. And this stupid nonsense that he's doing at the minute, where he's just like, one week he's a born again Christian. I think he's also a Buddhist. I think he's also turned to Allah, um, which is a bit of a contradiction. Also Catholic. I heard the other day. He's been washed in the Thames by Bear Grylls. What that has to do with finding religion, what bathing yourself in the Thames, I have absolutely no idea. But there we go. Yeah, anyway, back onto wrestling. Garbage Rat Sunu. Okay. I would never do such a thing. I would never do such a thing. Oh, is that a Russell Brand impression? Possibly. I hope. In which case it's very funny. Cool, nice one. Yeah, so basically after the Matt Cardona thing, there was the MFT's Y6 promo, which was, like I said to Jacob earlier, it was really cool to see the reference to Bray Wyatt. Other than that, I really don't have an interest in this match because I like the Wyatt Six, and I really hope that they can make a go of this for Bray's sake. I really do. The MFTs, and I'm sure those of you who've heard my live streams before have heard me talk about this. The MFTs are awful, and like I said, there's no issue with any of the guys at all. Um, they all seem like decent workers to me. I'm sure they're all decent lads. It's just it's a terrible gimmick. It's a terrible name, and I just don't buy Sokoa as a mob boss, and I never have done. I think Solo Sokoa is an outstanding worker, don't get me wrong, and I think he's a very, very good, excellent technical professional wrestler. I have no problem with whatsoever. It's just it's the gimmick of the MFTs that I don't like. So I would just like eventually Solo maybe to sack this off, and then maybe they go back to the bloodline, or at least a Timu bloodline. So you maybe have the Usos getting back together with maybe Jacob Fatu and Solo Sokoa. I don't know, somewhere along the lines. Maybe even you throw Roman in for like a revival at some point. I don't know, but the whole MFT thing, like I said, I like all the. Well, I don't like all of them, but all the guys in there are absolutely fine. Obviously, the lad who was once known as Jeff Cobb, very very good professional wrestler. I just yeah, it's just not for me. It's all, to be honest. So I have no real interest in that whatsoever. Um, so yeah, I'm trying to see. There was one weird thing actually. I don't know if anyone knows, but there was this really weird little thread that was dangled with. Sorry, I'm just watching Match of the Day, folks, at the minute as well. While I'm trying to. What on earth was that? That is terrible. Sorry, I'm just watching Burnley versus Brighton at the minute when I should be talking to you guys. Sorry, let me concentrate. I don't know if anyone knows about the Tomatonga and Shinsuke Nakamura thing, because there was this random little thread that was like dangled when both of them had a very, very short promo when they were speaking in Japanese. Yeah, a bit weird, but also quite intriguing. I mean, I don't know if it's going to be one of these things like when AJ Styles basically said, "Oh, someone doesn't want me to be here," and then never followed up on it. Maybe it's just something that's been thrown in there for. I don't know. Did they meet in New Japan Pro Wrestling, something like that? Maybe. I'm assuming that's what it was about. I don't know, but yeah, there might be a thing with Tomatonga and Shinsuke Nakamura. Anyway, um, after that, you had Sami Zayn came back out because he'd been on SmackDown for a couple of weeks. I feel a bit sorry for Sammy because he doesn't seem to be as over as he once was. Like the crowd, don't get me wrong, they're excited to see him and stuff, and like little people definitely cheering for him. But it seems to go very, very flat after a while. And when he came out and started talking about the world title thing again, there was just this. I don't know if I misheard it. That it just seemed like there was a bit of a collective, not this again kind of thing. Let me have a look. Pon. Oh, let me get a bit closer. Uh, Pon. Pone Pot. Hi, Pone Pot. You're all right. And Viscool. Hi, Viscool. How you doing, mate? You're all right, pal. Yeah, like I said, I just feel a bit sorry for Sam. I don't know where this has come from, to be honest, because I think people were really interested in the end with the whole Killer Cross thing. Maybe that's not really helped Sammy. Because I remember he got dogs abuse when he challenged John Cena as well, just before Cena left. So I don't know what's going on with the Crown of Sami Zayn. I mean, I really like Sami Zayn. I think he's an absolute tremendous. I mean, I don't know if people want him to go back to being a heel. Sami Zayn's one of those I actually think he's better as a face. There's not usually I'm just like he's better at a heel, he's better at a heel, she's better at a heel. I like Sammy as a face. To be honest, I like the whole underdog thing and fighting from the bottom on the way to the top. So maybe that's just me. I don't know. Either way, so Zayn's come with this promo, and then all of a sudden you just hear in the background, "Whoop that trick! Whoop that trick!" And I'm just like, "What is going on?" There's like Trick Williams, and obviously because my son's he's never seen NXT before, and I don't really get a chance to see it that much myself. Although I'm thinking about trying to start watching it hopefully this year. I'll let you guys know more about that if I can fit it into my schedule because I barely have enough time to sleep at the moment, let alone take on more live streams. But I'm thinking about doing it anyway. Um, yeah, and Trick Williams comes out, and I'm like, what is going on? This is absolutely mental. We've already had Jordan Grace, and we've had um, Matt Cardona, and now we've got Swerve Strickland. Oh my good God Almighty, not Swerve Strickland. There you are. Clip that one. Trick Williams, sorry, and he looks good. Like literally, promo is on point. His looks on point. The bloke is jacked. He can obviously wrestle. And he just basically came out and said, "Yeah, I want to beat Cody Rhodes and become the champion." So Cody, as it stands, even if he beats Drew, has got Trick Williams, Sami Zayn, and Randy Orton, who also said to Cody halfway through the night, like, "I want that title," in the backstage. So I actually said this in one of my vlogs earlier. I would imagine that Cody Rhodes is a very happy man at the minute. Very, very happy man. Because, I mean, since the summer, I mean, look, him and Drew have tried to keep this feud going as long as they can do, and I think they've given it a good effort. But I mean, Drew desperately needs to work with other people as well. I really hope Drew gets his world title belt at Mania. He's been waiting that long to do it, and look, the bloke does deserve it. I would just like to see him get his WrestleMania moment. I know people said he's had it before, obviously with the COVID WrestleMania, and then he did actually beat Rollins at the other WrestleMania, but I mean, he lost the belt within, what was it, 2 minutes because of the Punk interference when Priest cashed in on. I'd just like to see Drew just standing tall at a WrestleMania, but I mean, his options are, I mean, this year, I mean, Gunther, you would imagine, is going to have to win a belt, if not at Mania or at the Rumble. I would imagine Bron Breakker, they'll be thinking about very, very seriously about winning a belt. Obviously, CM Punk, if he's already lost the belt, he comes into the equation. Who beats Cody? I mean, this is the trouble as well for Drew now. If you look at the two world title holders, they can't do Drew McIntyre and CM Punk again because they had a whole feud going on for what was it, nearly 6, 7 months on and off. And obviously, he's now done a boatload of stuff with Cody Rhodes, which suggests to me, unfortunately, that Drew again is going to be the odd man out at WrestleMania. If he's not going to be in world title contention, I just hope at least they put him in a decent match. I mean, Drew McIntyre versus Bronson. Actually, Bronson Reed would be cool, but I was going to say Bron Breakker. Maybe him and Jacob Fatu, because obviously Drew put him out. Um, what was it, about 4 or 5 months ago? Imagine Fatu will be back soon. Um, you've still got Kevin Owens to come back as well, so that's what I was going to say. Like, the whole SmackDown roster looks a hell of a lot better now. We've got Joe Hendry, who seems to be a full-time member of the roster. Obafemi is due to make his debut, but I don't know whether that's going to be on Raw or SmackDown. So I think a lot of this is a result of the Cena retirement as well, because if you look at it, Lesnar's 45, 46. He's in WWE for what, maybe 10 dates a year, if that. Roman's probably a bit longer, maybe 20 dates for him. And he's also not old. I mean, I would imagine Roman Reigns is my age, 44, 45, something along them lines. Cody's in his 40s, CM Punk's 47. They are getting to us to AJ Styles is obviously going to be retiring this time next year, so you are getting to a stage where WWE is going to need a serious infusion. So you can see why they're doing what they're doing now with some of the stars that they're trying to build up. So yeah, fair play to Marco. Yeah, and then after that, I'm just trying to have a look what else happened first. Mello and Gargano had a really good match. Obviously, Mello went over. Um, it's a shame for Gargano because I don't think he's ever going to be able to advance from that spot, sadly, him or Champa. But they are two very, very good professional wrestlers, so it is a shame, unfortunately. But, you know, they are placed on the card, so it's better than nothing. Um, what else? Then you had the Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre segment, so that was the bit where Drew McIntyre, shouldn't laugh at this as a person that's lost his father. Basically supposedly found Cody Rhodes's sacred photo of his dad, and it's just like, yeah, my son's like a Cody fan. It's just like, I can't believe he's doing this to Cody's daddy. And it's just like, I was just like, son, that will not be. Cody Rhodes' main photo of his father. That will be stuffed safely away in Cody Rhodes' fabulous mansion somewhere. Don't worry about it. It's quite well done though. But I have a problem with wrestling logic leaps sometimes, and basically Cody had kept asking Aldis, "Where is Drew McIntyre?" And it's like, "He's on his way. I don't know." And then everyone goes to the ring, or yeah, Cody Rhodes goes to the ring, and then all of a sudden it's like, you see Drew appear on the Titan shot, and he's just like, "Yeah, Cody, I'm next to your bus." And I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. Wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute, stop. If Aldis is like watching it, and I know I'm going far too into this, but if Aldis is genuinely meant to be watching for Drew McIntyre, how the hell has Drew McIntyre not only opened a door to the arena, where there's no security around, by the way, but the man's also standing next to Cody Rhodes' bus? I, I'm, I don't have words really to be honest. And again, I appreciate this is professional wrestling. It's not always the most nuanced in terms of storytelling, logic leaps and stuff. But yeah, it was weird to be honest. It was really, really, really weird. But yeah, basically, Drew basically burns Dusty Rhodes' photo to death. I mean, again, I'm not sure that's in the best of taste, to be honest, but this is Dusty Rhodes we're talking about. I'm sure Dusty, if he was looking down on from the cloud, would be all in on it, and he'd be saying, "Yeah, baby, you go ahead. You go ahead. It's for Dusty Rhodes." Um, yeah, sorry, that was my terrible Dusty. Everyone thinks they can do a Dusty Road accent, apart from me. Yeah, so that was quite cool. So yeah, basically what they've said is that Berlin next week, because WWE are actually going to Europe. I am still, by the way, guys, looking at the possibility of going. I'll have to make a very late decision because obviously, as most subscribers will know, I'm off to see Liverpool next week against Barnsley, and I'm having a full 2 day thing in Liverpool, so I'm going to a load of Comic Con stuff and this, that, and the other. I'm not sure whether I can also afford to be going to WWE as well. I'm going to try and see if there's any tickets at the last minute for maybe the Newcastle show. Leave that with us, but I generally don't know if I'm going. But WWE's actually going to Europe, so next week it's Germany, and I want to say the week afterwards it's Belfast Raw, and then is it France again, maybe, or somewhere in England? I don't know, but there's quite a few different house shows and stuff coming up around Europe. I think they're going to Poland, Germany, I think Italy possibly, and there's several dates in England as well. So yeah, if I don't make this English tour, I would definitely go and see WWE in March or April. Oh, excuse me. Good grief, sorry folks, long day. I will definitely make sure I see WWE hopefully in April. If not, I'll go in the summer if they are going to go in the summer. Anyway, reason I mention that is because I never used to get to see Smackdown like a lot of us because it's on at like ridiculous o'clock for the UK in the morning. With this being Germany, I would imagine you would be. In fact, I'll have a look. Just bear me a second. I'm just going to go on my laptop for a second. Um, Live laptop checking as you do. I'm just going to have a look to see what time we're looking at because I think the last time we were in Germany, it was potentially about 8 days' time. Let's see if I can find it. Ooh. This seems to be saying. Right, so the Belfast one appears to be at 6:30, which is very cool. Just trying to look to see what time the Germany one is. I'll try. Like I said, I'll update and everything. But what time is WWE Germany on in UK? Let's have a look. Right, I can't actually see, folks, at the minute. I would suspect, yeah, I'll do some research into it, but I would suspect you'd be looking at maybe, hopefully, about 7 or 8 o'clock at night, which would be really cool because I can actually sit there and cover it and I can actually watch it live for a change. And I can do my reactions and stuff, and I can just do maybe like a live reaction to it straight afterwards, which would be really cool. What else happened? Yeah, actually SmackDown from there kind of went. I won't say it fell off a cliff. Like, obviously, the first 2 hours was just insane. But and this is the thing about SmackDown, whether they can keep going, because SmackDown historically has had these really cool starts. Like they had a segment a few years ago when it was Becky Lynch and The Rock, when Becky was really, really like burning red hot at that point as a babyface. Um, and then it just falls off a cliff basically. So whether with the influx of NXT people, it's going to be like this all the time. I honestly couldn't tell you, but hopefully it is. Um, yeah, Julia won the title back from Chelsea Green. This is still kind of a bit of a thing with WWE. I mean, the whole Chelsea Green, Mishin, B-Fab, Johnny Gargano, Fraxium sort of undercard is getting a bit tiresome. And like I said, I don't wish any ill toward any of the wrestlers. It's just sometimes you like people, sometimes you don't like people, basically. And yeah, Julia's assistant, whose name I can never remember. I mean, again, no offense to the woman, she seems like she's really, really good pro wrestler. I forgot her name now. What is her name? Um, I'm sure I'll remember it in a minute. But again, the gimmick they've saddled with, like a lawyer with a giant handbag. I mean, seriously, what are we doing here? Is this 2007 or something? Can we not give the female wrestlers a decent? If you're going to give them a gimmick, give them one that's actually good. She looks like something out of LA Law in the 1980s. And if there's anyone at my age who is watching, I'm sure you know what I mean. But yeah, Julia won it back, and then Priest and Alistair Black. It was really cool that Rhea Ripley came out and interrupted that. I believe that Priest went over. I say I believe because I've just suddenly realised I didn't see the end of that match because me and my son had to go and do something else. So I'm just gonna check if Damien Priest went over. Damien Priest beats Alistair Black in an ambulance match. Oh yeah, that was it. Yeah, it was an ambulance match, which I remember them from back in the day. Not my cup of tea, to be honest. Throwing some fella in an ambulance and then closing it and you're declared the winner just seems a bit. Yeah, it's not. This isn't the gimmick you're looking for. This isn't the gimmick you're looking for. Yeah, so not my cup of tea at all. That's become made by Rhea Ripley, basically coming out. I would love to put Rhea and Damien Priest back together. I know they can't because Rhea's such a on fire star at the minute. She's doing her thing with EO. I mean, maybe you could. Maybe they're leaning towards Priest, EO, and Rhea as a group of some kind. Maybe they could. I would just like to see Damien Priest go back to the Judgment Day. To be honest, and maybe you could potentially have a Judgment Day war one day. I mean, there's been what I'm guessing about 9 to 10 members of the Judgment Day now, maybe a bit more than that. Um, I mean, especially if you could get Adam Copeland back one day, because I'm sure he will come back to WWE. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see on that. But yeah, Damien Priest went over, and that's pretty much it, folks. To be honest, like I mentioned about Obafemi, he's on his way. Looks like Joe Hendry's a permanent roster member. And yeah, I'll try and find out what's happening with WWE in Germany, but just to confirm that they are doing Cody Rhodes versus Drew McIntyre as the main event. I believe it's Ray Phoenix versus Trick Williams, and I think there's a women's match as well. I can't remember what it is now, to be completely honest. I think Charlotte Flair and Alexa might be facing someone. I can't remember who it was. Anyway, I mean, the card in at Raw looks obviously better because you've got the CM Punk Bron Breakker match. You've got Becky Lynch versus Dupree, and there's another one they've announced whose name escapes me. But yeah, it's looking pretty decent, to be honest. So been a decent start for the year for wrestling. I watched AEW Dynamite the other day. That was a very cool show. I really love the ending with Willow Nightingale and Mercedes Moné. Now, I've done a vlog on that as well. Excuse me. Suffering with a bit of a cold, folks. I think. Well, looks good. Yeah, no. So I watched Dynamite, watched Smackdown. They've both been excellent shows so far. So yeah, it looks like it's going to be another good year of wrestling. I've got a vlog hopefully coming out about this later on the night. I'm just hoping that there's going to be more stars going to SmackDown, because me and a few guys who I speak to on here periodically have been saying that SmackDown is for new stars, desperate. So I'm really, really pleased that they've recognised this and made this move. Let me just take my laptop down because I don't need that anymore. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, I mean, I did a vlog not too long ago, basically saying about what's been going on with SmackDown. I mean, there was a SmackDown episode that I saw about two and a half months ago, something online, and literally it was unwatchable. It was one of the worst pro wrestling shows that I've ever seen in my entire life. It was basically unwatchable. I'd rather watch one of my videos, and that's saying something. Um, it was so poor. They kind of got it on track a bit with Dragunov and the Open Challenge, and then it faded again. It faded really badly, and it's due to the fact that SmackDown just doesn't have as many stars as Monday Night Raw. It's as simple as that. They just don't. So I'm hoping with the infusion of Joe Hendry, Trick Williams, Jordan Grace, Matt Cardona, Obafemi, hopefully, I'm hoping he goes to SmackDown because I don't think he needs to go to Raw just yet. Obviously, you've got Jacob Fatu to come back. You've still got Cody. You've still got Drew. You've got Alexa Bliss. You've got the Wyatts. You've got Charlotte Flair. You still, hopefully, fingers crossed, Godwin and Kevin Owens to come back as well. So all of a sudden, SmackDown from looking like a very depleted roster has come to a very good roster. I would still, from my point of view, like to see Ethan Page either go to Monday Night Raw or WWE SmackDown, because for me, and I'm a bit what's the word I'm looking for? I'm a bit biased on Ethan Page because he's a massive toy collector and stuff, which I am. So, um, but he's also an absolutely pro wrestler. Ethan Page does not need to be on NXT. He never did need to be on NXT. He was used atrociously by AEW, despite what a talented bloke he is. Ethan Page should be in the world title picture now on even Monday Night Raw or SmackDown. In my opinion, that's how high I'd rate him. Would I have to belt on Ethan Page at the minute? No. But going forward, Ethan Page is going to be one of their biggest stars. I would like to see him potentially on SmackDown. I also think Ricky Saints, because obviously I used to watch him on the Indies and at AEW. Again, I know they're trying to make NXT a viable brand for the deal that they've just done for NXT, obviously, but like Ricky Saints does not need to be being polished up in NXT. Neither really does Blake Monroe. I'd imagine I would have thought Blake Monroe will be on maybe Raw or SmackDown after WrestleMania. I would have thought. And the good thing about NXT is it's like a pipeline. The more and more people go to Raw and SmackDown, the more and more that just come up for developmental. I mean, literally, I heard the other day that I think NXT has got something ridiculous, like about 400 wrestlers who are just waiting to debut or are training up to debut, which is just wild, to be honest. Obviously, they've got TNA. I talked about this in my vlog. You've still got people like Nick Nemeth who could come back. You've got Tatum Paxley, who looks like she's really, really coming to the fore. And then you've got other people like Lyra Valkyria and Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez, who are like really, really coming to the boil now. I'd also like to see Natty Neidhart, who we saw a glimpse of training Maxine Dupree. I'd like to actually see Natty Neidhart come in because she was awesome in Bloodsport and a couple of the indie shows. So yeah, overall, it's looking very, very good for SmackDown, and it's looking very good for wrestling. So yeah, overall, I usually give a grade for these sort of things. Firstly, thanks everyone who was watching. At least up until about 8 minutes ago, and all you guys seem to have gone to bed, but that's fine. It's 10 to 12. That's absolutely fine. Yeah, thank you for everyone that's commented and stuff. That's been nice to hang out with you. Um, what do I give SmackDown rating? Do you know what? For the first time in, I couldn't even tell you. I'm going to give SmackDown an A plus. I thought it was absolutely brilliant. My only complaint would have been I would have moved the Damian Priest, Alistair Black segment to where the Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre segment was personally for me, but that's just me nitpicking. Otherwise, I thought it was great. Match of the night. I think I'll give match of the night to Carmelo Hayes versus Johnny Gargano. I thought it was really good, really solid effort from both guys. I did like the women's match a lot as well, but obviously there was a lot of moving into it. And MVP of the night, pals on the pun, definitely Lash Legend. That girl looks awesome. I would be thinking about putting the belt on Lash Legend sooner rather than later. She looks amazing, absolutely amazing. Yeah, it was just a great show and really glad I enjoyed it. So, thanks everyone for watching. I'm just going to go through a bit of housekeeping before the end, seeing as I've got a few minutes spare. So in terms of stuff that's coming up on the channel, first of all, if you like what you've seen tonight, yeah, let me put my teeth back in. If you want to subscribe to the channel, it's Geek Boy Meta 7381, and I'm also Geek Boy Meta on Threads, Substack, Blue Sky, Reddit. I've got a couple of channels on there. What else have I got? Instagram. It's usually Geek Boy Matter, so just type that in. Now. There should be my lovable, beautiful face that comes up. Yeah, no jokes, by the way. So yeah, you can follow me and do all that stuff. Just to say to you guys as well, if you're watching them for the first time, it's not just pro wrestling. I also cover Liverpool. Let's see if Liverpool Pride. I've called it adult real world stuff or something like that, where I discuss like mental health and that sort of business. Um, Comic cons, toy hunts, football stadiums. I do like footy ground tours as well. And there's a couple of other things as well. I've got a movie one that I don't use as much, to be honest. It's whenever I see a movie that I've really enjoyed or whatever, I'll do like a review on it and stuff. Maybe go live. I will be going live about 28 months later, but 28 months, 28 years later, Bone Temple. I am like a massive, massive fan of that franchise. I love the 28 years. I'm literally begging the missus at the moment to watch 28 years because we bought it on DVD for Christmas, but she really wants to watch the end of Stranger Things. By the way, please don't tell us because I haven't found out yet. Um, yeah, so I'm probably going to do a live one for that as well. And then if there's, I don't know, stuff like Avengers Doomsday or like Evil Dead Burn that's coming out in the summer, then I'll do Supergirl or whatever the case may be. I'll do it for stuff that I really want to see, basically. So yeah, there's that. And then I've got a movie podcast which is based off of that. I do the podcast for this one, which is Geek Boy Wrestling Story. And then I do Geek Boy A Liverpool Story, which is from my live stream shows of Liverpool. There we go. Excellent. Yeah, like I said, this will be a YouTube video tomorrow at some point, and it will also be on YouTube podcast. In terms of what's coming up the next week, I'm very glad you asked, listener who isn't there anymore. So yeah, tomorrow I'll be back on live reactions for. Dear God, these guys, yay! If you're wondering on the podcast what I'm pointing at, it's the bottle that's got the Liverpool symbol on. Most of you guys, wrestling guys, know that I cross over with Liverpool as well, who are prominently featured on my channel, about the same as pro wrestling. Those are the two biggest things on the channel. Yeah, not looking forward to that at all. So if you're hearing this after the Fulham result, I'm just going to say I told you so. I will take a draw right now. And yeah, so I'll be doing live reaction to that tomorrow. There should be a load of toy shorts that have come out this evening. I've not had a look at what's happened on them just yet, but feel free to check that out. Monday, I might be on with another Liverpool one, possibly. I'm not too sure yet. I'll definitely be on Tuesday for Monday Night Raw reaction, because that's usually when I do it. It's about 10:30 that one for that. Wednesday, I don't think I'm on. Thursday, so you see, Thursday, this is one of the things of like covering loads of different things. That's the other thing. I've got a playlist for Comic Cons, toy hunts, and also horror as well because I love all sort of stuff. Um, but yeah, going back to my schedule for the next week. So next week it would usually be AEW Dynamite reaction show on Thursday. However, Liverpool are playing Arsenal on Thursday, so I'm going to have to do a live reaction for that instead, which I am. To say I'm not looking forward to Liverpool playing Arsenal would be an understatement. I could probably do without that, to be honest, in my life at the minute. But yes, I'll be on live for that, so I might do the AEW live reaction on the Friday, actually. So I should be on most of next week. Friday, I'll be back for Saturday. Sorry, I'll be back for the late night SmackDown reaction show. There won't be a show on Sunday because a week on Monday, those guys that I was complaining about, I'm actually going to go and see those guys. Yes. So if you don't know, I just recently got tickets for Liverpool versus Jesus. Let me start again, folks. I recently got tickets for Liverpool versus Barnsley, not Liverpool versus Arsenal, because that would have cost me a fortune. So yeah, I've got tickets for that for a week on Monday, providing this horrendous weather doesn't mean the game's cancelled, which I'm not totally sure about at the minute. But yeah, it's going to be something that I call Red Monday. So basically, I'm going up to Liverpool. I'm going to stay over. I may be able to go to Manchester as well beforehand, depending on what time I get up. I'm not too sure about that just yet, but I'm going to be doing live from the ground. So I'm going to be going around the ground, depending if the weather isn't too bad. Basically, just live streaming and like hopefully seeing the coach come in and so on and so forth. And then I'll be doing my match vlog from the game. I'll be recording any and all goals that go in, obviously, and then I'll try and post them as soon as I can do from the ground. But obviously, I want to see the game. I'll try and do like a half-time report if I can. I'll be going live after the match is finished as well. There'll be a travel vlog. There'll be hopefully a Liverpool vlog itself because Liverpool is such an awesome city. Shout out to the city of Liverpool. It is absolutely freaking awesome. I'm hoping to get to Forbidden Planet in Liverpool, Worlds Apart, I think it's called in Liverpool, which is another like sort of geeky comic book store. So I'm hoping to get there. If I can get time, I want to try and get to, because obviously Manchester on the way to Liverpool, I want to try and get to Affleck's Palace, which is in Manchester. So hopefully I can do a couple of bits and pieces in Manchester. And then, for want of a better phrase, I'm going to be going to, after I've done some shopping in the Liverpool area, I'm going to go to one or two of Liverpool's pubs. And I'm going to have several glasses of wine. And then I'm going to get back on the train, which should be very, very interesting, I would have thought. And then, yeah, I'll be back in Leeds. So this will be a week on Tuesday. I'll probably be back in Leeds early hours of like Wednesday morning. So I'll be back about 12 o'clock.